Okay, hi, it's me again. Hi, Teresa, how are you? Okay, let's see now if Lucas can join. Hopefully this time, fingers crossed. Waiting for Lucas to join the session. Okay, so today we will talk about Catalonian wines, past, present, and future of Catalonia with really nice examples. And my guest is Lucas Gailhac, brand ambassador of Familia Torres. And now I'm waiting. No, Lucas. Okay, Lucas is here, but let me see if I can add him now to the session. No, not. I cannot. Ah, yes, finally I can add Lucas. Okay, great. Okay,
Hey, look at this. It's me.
yes, finally.
Yeah, finally. I'm very sorry then.
But you know what? Do you see my face, or is it just like from my nose and up?
No, no, we can see you until your chest. I mean,
Ah, okay, because I don't know why, but in the screen I just see myself like from my nose and up.
because you are an Instagrammer. You are not a Facebooker.
Yeah. Okay, welcome. Sorry again for the technical issues, everyone. But now we are here, and then we will have a really interesting topic. How are you, Lucas? Long time no see.
Yeah, it's true. It's like 2 months or even more. It's crazy, eh? This
Yeah, I
this co-
think,
this
yeah.
confinement. Luckily, here in I live in Vilafranca del Penedès, in the heart of Catalonia. It's not Barcelona. It's the province, but not the city. And here we moved to the phase number one, no?
Yeah,
So we can,
yeah.
yeah, up to 10 people in the streets or at home. You can have gatherings. Not you.
Mm-hmm.
You are in 0.5, 0.7. Which
Yeah,
one are you?
I'm unfortunately in the heart of Barcelona, so we cannot do anything yet. Is Joanet open? Did you go and check?
Which one? Joanette?
Joanet?
No. It's not open.
No?
I didn't check this week, but I
Ah,
went to the
okay.
office for a couple of things these past days, and no.
Uh-huh.
Joanette.
Yeah. Okay. So Lucas and I actually we are colleagues. So we both work for Familia Torres. Lucas is in the international brand ambassador team. So we chose the topic today to talk about the Catalonian wines, and obviously we are going to link it to Familia Torres. So if in the meantime, if anyone has any questions or any comments, feel free to write in the comments, and I will keep an eye on the questions or any comments, and I will try to come back to that once. Okay, so we said, okay, Lucas, we decided to talk about like the past, present, and the future. So briefly, let's talk about a little bit of the Catalonia generally,
Yeah,
like the past, the history of Catalonia and
it's
Catalonian wines.
for me, it's fantastic. Though I'm not from Catalonia. I'm originally from Argentina. Catalonia kind of adopted me, and it's already 3 years. And since I've been here, it's something for me really really impressive. Even for me, an Argentinian coming from this, if you want the new world to the old world, where if you go to Argentina, people will tell you, "Oh, look at this building; it's really old. It's from the 1902." And then you come here to the old world and then tell you, look at this building or this castle is from the 10th, 12th century or even older. And
Yeah.
I'm saying this because the history of viticulture and winemaking in Catalonia is even older than Catalonia itself. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
if you go to the documents, everything starts in the 6th century before Christ with the Iberians here, the Phoenicians and the Greek coming here, establishing, and when they were coming, they were also bringing their vines, all the yes, the winemaking techniques, uh,
Mm-hmm.
until the Romans they came in the 2nd century before Christ, and they completely established here and established Catalonia as a winemaking country or a winemaking region. The Greeks before, they were calling this part Empúries, and if you go to the north of Catalonia, you have Empordà, no? And it's coming from this. It has these origins, really, really old. The Romans, when they established here, Tarraco is known as the biggest city outside the Roman Emporium. And when the people says all the roads lead to Rome, this is not the exception. Catalonia is in the middle of the Via Appia or Via Augusta. Is this road that was communicating Rome with the rest of the cities of the Roman Empire. Well, here it was very, very normal or very fancy in the capital to drink wines from abroad. And Tarraco and the Penedès, it was a very known place back in those days for really good wines, no? Then, if you want to come a little bit more here, the winemaking production kind of stopped a little bit with the Arabs conquering everything.
That's me coming from Turkey, Ottoman.
I really, it's really fantastic the history to read, and even when you are here in Catalonia, you travel around the different places, and they tell you the things that happened here, and it's a kind of living Game of Thrones, no? Because you have armies that conquer everything. You have Hannibal from Carthago, no, jumping here, trying to attack Rome from the north, coming with elephants. Also, the towns that he was conquering, they were turning into mercenaries. They were fighting for the Arabs, and we know that the Arabs with the Muslim culture, they don't drink alcohol, so it didn't stop, but it was much more quiet until I would say the century 10 or 11, where the Catalonia became independent from the Frankish Empire, and over there the production of wine just increased until now. No, from the 10, 11, 12th century, Catalonia had a massive, if you want, a massive influence from the church, from the monks coming everywhere. They wanted to populate the different areas, so massive pieces of land were given to these monks. And we know, for example, in Priorat, everything started in the 12th century with the Carthusian monks coming from France to here. For example, if you go to Conca de Barberà, you have the Poblet Monastery, which this monastery is what is being called historically the center of the religion in Catalonia. All the kings of Aragon, Catalonia used to belong to the Aragon kingdom, they are buried in this monastery. The family Torres is, well, I'm very lucky because the family owns this little castle of Milmanda with all the surrounding vineyards, and it's just fantastic to go there to Conca de Barberà. And then a little bit more here in the 19th century, there was also Gaudí, Martinel, many architects that they created the cathedral of the wines, no? These wine cathedrals. So they gave a really important place to the wineries, and they built like crazy stuff. They look like cathedrals. I prepared a little presentation. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, please.
So, yeah, you see. So I forgot that I prepared it. So this is the in Google Maps, the Via Appia or the Via Augusta, where the Romans were taking the wine.
Yeah.
And these are these wine cathedrals. I don't know if it's out of focus, but you can see really, really impressive buildings.
Yeah.
That put in a really, really important place the wine in here in Catalonia. The truth is that for Catalan people, wine is something extremely important. They use it every day for cooking, for celebrating. It's part of the culture and the everyday life of Catalonia. And when I came here, the first thing that I've been taught it was to use. I don't know if you can see it.
Let me see.
The classic
Ah,
the
yeah, yeah,
porron.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
porron.
I
So,
tried it. I tried it for the first time. Like, if when was it? I think 4 or 5 months ago. I never dared to use it because I'm super clumsy and I knew that it would have been a disaster. But then I tried, and in the beginning it was going well, but then yes, it was disaster. All
see,
over me was wine.
then you spill everything. But I must tell you, now for these COVID times, it's a really good device. You don't share glasses.
Exactly.
It's even a good decanter to aerate the wine. So the porron, I
Do you
will
have
give it
one
a
at
go
home?
again.
Do you have one at home?
Yeah, I have one. Yeah.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if you have one at home, you can do a demonstration. But no, I'm just kidding.
No, because also it's in the kitchen, I will lose a
Yeah,
lot
I'm
of time.
kidding.
Next time.
Next time for
Yeah.
next session.
So
Great.
this is a little bit like in 2 minutes the history of Catalonia until now. That is really interesting to see this map, because this is Catalonia, and these are the if you want 11/12 DOs, or denominación de origen, or appellations in Catalonia.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting because you have 11 denominación de origen, one of them being Cava, but the other one is is the whole region Catalonia, and that gives a lot of options to the vine growers and the winemakers, because they can choose where to put their grapes, based maybe in the proximity, maybe in the quality, and that I'm saying this because I will start speaking from Catalonia. I will start speaking in the Penedès, because we are based in the Penedès as a
yeah. But before that, can you name all the DOs?
See, so you have from the north. You can, if we want, we go quickly through all of them, but it will be quite long.
No, we cannot. Just naming it. Yeah, just names.
So from the north, we have Empordà, close to the Pyrenees, the Tramontana wind. So over there is fantastic because you have tourism, you have gastronomy, and also you have wines that go from the coast to the Pyrenees. Then you have a little bit more in the south, in the Maresma, you have Aleria. Aleria is a really small, one of the smallest appellations in Catalonia. Only 9 wineries, 300 hectares. The Panza Blanca, or the Charelo, like they call it over there, is the star. Inland, you have Pla de Valles. Pla de Valles is a little bit bigger. The Picapol is the main variety over there. And then you have Penedès, as a region really well known for the cava, but also with many other things going on that we will explain later on. And then the most inland appellation in Catalonia is Costers del Segre. Costers del Segre, though we are in Catalonia, we think about the Mediterranean breeze, the sun, the beach. Here, forget about that. We are very inland, continental climate, 40 degrees in the summer, 45, in the winter, -5, high variation in temperature. And then we have in the south, Tarragona. We have Tarragona, we have Conca de Barberà. Conca de Barberà, we said before, the religious center, and the key variety in La Conca is Trepat. Trepat is a variety that gives really good rosé wines, but also really good Blanc de Noir for sparkling. And many other varieties.
Yeah. For the ones who never heard Trepat before, Trepat is also is kind of like known as Pinot Noir of Catalonia.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. With a spicy note, like a white pepper that you can find in the Gruner Veltliner, you can find it also in the Trepat.
Also in there, yeah.
Really interesting. Well, La Conca, last year in Conca de Barberà, there were massive floods with the Francolí River, and even some of the wineries completely disappeared, just to give you an idea. There was a big difficult. Then we will talk about the climate change and the global warming, and this is the main reason. And then I need to mention I like to call it the fried egg. We have Monsant being the white and Priorat being the yolk, no, in the middle. And then finally the southernmost appellation, the Terra Alta. Terra Alta is the southernmost appellation. It's also inland, really arid, really dry, extremely hot, with the Garnacha Blanca being the star over there. 75% of the Garnacha Blanca of the whole country of Spain is coming from Terra Alta. And then, apart from these 10 appellations, we need to mention Cava Dio, which is a little bit tricky because Cava, you can make Cava in Navarra, you can make Cava in Rioja, you can make Cava in Valencia, in Gailhac, but Cava is about a method of making wine rather than a specific place. But of course, virtually all the Cava production is made here in Catalonia. 99% of the Cava, in terms of volume, is coming from here. And the wider appellation is Catalonia, that englobes most of the region. And that allowed, this Catalonia appellation allowed to play the winemakers and the vine growers with the wines or grapes from different appellations and blending them together, and gave a little bit more flexible boundaries or limits.
Exactly. So now, like in all these appellations, the mostly organically certified is Penedès, right?
Yes, indeed. And it's really interesting because there is a challenge now that is being set by the regulatory council, by the Denominación de Origen Penedès. More or less 40% of the vines that are registered in the Penedès, they are organic certified. But Penedès wants to be the first DO 100% organic certified. It's a really big challenge. But little by little they are getting there. There is a really big commitment in between the wineries, because they said that if there are many wineries that are eager to pay a price of an organic vineyard, there will be much more vine growers that they will turn organic. The president of the Penedès last year, he set this goal, and by the year 2023, this should be achieved. 100% of the vineyards of the Penedès should be organic certified. How is he, or how is the Penedès appellation doing this? They are adding two prices for the vines. One for the ones that are in the plain, and one for the coster, for the ones that are in the hills, that are a little bit more well drained, and they're supposed to have a little bit more quality. And also they are setting the price a little bit higher than conventional vine growing, but they are giving the possibility. This is a good thing of DO Cava, DO Catalunya. If you are in the Penedès and you don't want to be organic, you have the opportunity to still sell the grapes to DO Cava or DO Catalunya with the price that implies, a much lower price.
Lower price, yeah.
So there are big debates every year. Last year, for example, was really big, a really big issue, because the price of the kilo of grape was paid really low, but it has been told in advance that if you would be organic, or you be towards the organic certification, they would pay more. That is the big debate in between the
exactly.
and the
I mean, it makes sense, because in the organic certification, to be able to get the organic, you need to have totally organic viticulture, which implies extra labor and so much care and time consuming. So in the end, it makes sense that you can charge more for your price. And also the Penedès, it is time for the Penedès to have 100% organic, because the climate is super suitable for organic viticulture. So.
Yes. No, it totally makes sense, and even for the appellation, is something that gives prestige to be an organic certified appellation, and the price of the wine will be higher, and that's supposed to be that the price of the grapes will be also higher, and people will pay for that price. And it's true that what you say, that here, I wouldn't say it's really easy, but it's here in Spain mainly, it's much easier to be organic than in other parts.
If you compare it to other countries, Spain has an amazing climate that it is much more suitable for organic, because they're like, depending obviously where you are in Spain, but I'm talking about Catalonia.
If we talk in Galicia, it's impossible.
Yeah, exactly. But when we talk about Catalonia and Penedès, it is like, it's dry, warm climate, summer sunshine, and there's like they're less prone to diseases, fungus, and so on and so forth. So why not? What are you drinking? Are you drinking a Catalonian wine?
Yeah, because like half an hour ago, I was with Roser Catasus. Catasus is the winemaker of Jean Leon, and we were launching to the social media the new Charelo of the well, it's a new Nativa Gama. It's a range of wines from Jean Leon that will focus in the local varieties. Something that here, specifically in Catalonia and here in the Penedès, local varieties are really important, and now we are having, like in the 60s, we had a boom with the international varieties. Here, the people in the 60s, led by Jean Leon, by Torres, worldwide, it was not known, the area, the Catalonian Penedès, in terms of wine. And these people, Jean Leon, Miguel Torres, the fourth generation, they started to plant international varieties like Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Chardonnay. And due to a few, if you want, milestones, like Jean Leon serving his wine for the inauguration dinner when Ronald Reagan became president, or Mr. Torres winning in 1979 the Gold Below blind tasting contest with the Mazaplana, with what now we know as Mazaplana, that helped the Penedès area to be known around the world. But I like always to say, you don't want to do what your father and your grandfather was doing, or you don't want to drink what your parents were drinking, no? So now these new generations, they are going back to what the great grandparents were planting, and there is a nice boom with the local varieties. Like, for example, here is the Charelo, or it can be also the Sumoy. Sumoy is the red variety of the Penedès. Sometimes, because it's quite vigorous, the people gave up, just uprooted and planted something a little bit easier to cultivate. But for example, in terms of Sumoy, we in the Penedès with Torres, we are just launching last year. At the end of last year, we launched the Viñarets. Viñarets is a blend of Tempranillo, Garnacha, and Sumoy. And it's about that, no? About paying a tribute to the local varieties that they've been here.
What does Sumol add in the blend? What is the contribution of Sumol in that Tempranillo Garnacha blend?
Well, I like to say that Sumoy is, if you want to compare with something, it's similar to a Sangiovese. It's similar to a Sangiovese in terms of, or even more. You have the floral touch of the Sangiovese, but you have quite rough tannins, good acidity, and very light color. Not really light like a Pinot Noir, but like a Barolo, if you want. That you see, it's a wine that when you see it, it tells you something. But when you drink it or you taste it, it changes completely your mind.
Completely.
Because just to give you an idea, this blend of three varieties, Garnacha, Tempranillo, and Sumoy, the only one that goes in oak barrels to be aged is the Sumoy, because it can have this aggressive tannins that you need to tame, no? And you know that in the oak, the one with microxygenate.
Yeah, to soften the tannins. Great. Yeah. We were doing, we did like a few weeks ago, we did an entire session about the ancestral varieties. And then we talked about a little bit of Sumol there. I'm not going to ask you those again, because we dedicated the entire session to that.
I follow you. I've seen all your episodes. I know you spoke about them.
Thank you. I had to give a break for about a week because my Instagram account got hacked, and then but now I have it back. I have it back, so I
You're
can
back. You're
go
back.
back
Yeah,
to
I've
Instagram.
seen that. And you recover absolutely everything. It's not. You
Yeah,
didn't start from
exactly.
the
Yeah.
scratch. It's everything is
No, no,
there
no.
now. Oh,
Everything, yeah,
fantastic.
everything is there. But thank God I had already downloaded all the sessions before, and almost all the sessions are available on YouTube, so I didn't lose anything. So
Okay,
it's good.
good.
Great. I want to ask you a bit about Priorat. Priorat is getting really popular and drawing all the attention.
Definitely.
Yeah, and within this all Catalonia, what do you think about Priorat? Where do you see Priorat, and what Priorat? Why is this so important? Priorat.
Priorat, since the late 80s, it had a renaissance. If you speak with the old people, Priorat is fantastic because you go there and it's like going 300 years back in time. People still lives in this. For example, I was last year in a little town called Siurana. It's in the top of a mountain and 34 inhabitants. 34. So imagine.
34.
Yeah, 34. It's like
Wow.
I was there and like a foreigner is here. No, it was like a success. No, like a crazy phenomenon. So Priorat is making wines since the 12th century. We said before, with the arrival of the monks, they decided to stay there with the order of Scala Dei. Then there was a massive problem during the civil wars. People was called to fight in the wars, in the civil war. So the men they were going, and the women they were the ones that stayed there. Sorry.
Your battery is dying.
Yeah, the one is dying. So the women they stayed over there and they looked after the vines. And now, if we want now having all vines and even more Priorat is really important. But if we need to say something, is that if we still have 70, 80, or 100-year-old vines in Priorat, it's due to the women because they stayed over there in the area and they looked after the vines. What happened is that in the late 80s and the beginning of the 90s, there was a group of people that decided to establish there. We all know them: René Barbier, Carlos Pastrana, Luis Perez, Álvaro Palacios, and Daphne Gloria. There were 10 in total, but these 5 are the most well known. They made a wine all together. This René Barbier sent it to France. This gentleman, the best sommelier, it was in 1987, the best sommelier in the world. He tasted blind. They set a really big price, and from that point, Priorat became successful and well known. The truth is that before, the wines of Priorat, really tannic with a really dark color, high alcohol, they were taken from Priorat and sent to the different part of Catalonia to improve the wines that they were doing in other parts. No, now it became really fashionable to have Priorat. Priorat prices are going very high. The price per kilo of grape in Priorat is really high. Just to give you an idea, Priorat roughly has 2,000 hectares planted. It's a really small appellation. If we speak about old vines in Priorat, it's certified 154 hectares of old vines. To be an old vine in Priorat is a vine that must be planted prior 1945, so at least 75 years old.
5 years.
And that is divided in 109 wineries that are working in Priorat. So if you want to go and buy some kilos, and also one old vine in Priorat can give you 500 grams of grapes. You need 4 plants to make 1 bottle of wine in Priorat. It's just it's really difficult to get these grapes. The quality is superb. Before, I can tell you that 80, 90 years ago, the blend was made in the vineyard. So they were planting garnachas, cariñenas all together. They were harvesting all together. The cariñenas, they ripe a little bit earlier than the garnacha. And when they were waiting for the garnacha to be fully ripe, so the cariñena was overripe. That's why historically the wines of Priorat, they have this high alcohol, this jammy notes, even overripe that perhaps you don't like it, or you don't look for them right now. There was a big change. What they are doing is the ones that are planting different varieties, harvesting in different times, also in different fermenting in different tanks, aging in different barrels. People is not using barrels anymore in some places. You were with the Terroir Limit, with the guys of Terroir Limit, and they are against
they are moving from barrel to concrete and doing experiments.
We in our winery in Priorat, we are in El Lloar. El Lloar is in the north of Priorat. Is known as one of the warmest regions in Priorat. We also have a vineyard in Porrera, much cooler, which is nice because we have two profiles of grapes in Priorat. We started at the very beginning, 2005. The family Torres established there in 1996. It wasn't until 2008 that we were able to make wine in our winery. Before we were renting facilities. We started with 300 liter barrels. A couple of years ago, we moved to 500 liter barrels, and now we have something like 2,500 liter foudre. So the use of the oak is every time is less and less. No, the impact of the oak characteristic. And now, talking about the future of Priorat, last year it was approved the new classification. The name is El Noms de la Terra. It's a new classification, and it's mirrored with Burgundy. So we start from DOQ Priorat, the basic wine that can have. It's good to mention that Priorat is DOQ, same as Rioja. Is a denominación de origen calificada. So out of the 70...
Yeah, we have a comment about that. Yeah, Carlos Javier says that too. Yeah, it is the only two DO calificada we have in Spain, Rioja and Priorat.
And that means mainly, well, we have because the controls are more strict, but maybe the most important is that every single wine that goes out of the appellation must be bottled. So there's no possibility to send something in bulk, no? So even to the people in Priorat, they thought, okay, maybe to give more prestige to the area and to focus more in the wines and the places, we go for this new classification. So they start with the DOQ Priorat, then we go to Vide Vila, which would be village wine. Then we go for Vide Parache. Parache is within a town. A place that is specific. It could be like similar to a cru in Burgundy. And then we go to Viña Clasificada, would be the Premier Cru, and Gran Viña Clasificada is the Gran Cru. With another classification that goes transversal, so you can use in every single stage of the pyramid, is the Bellas Viñas, or Viñas Bellas, is the old vine. These vines planted prior 1945. So I think is this with this region with Bierzo, in my opinion, are the two regions that are working towards this classification in origin rather than winemaking, aging. Then it was. I remember when you were talking with the people of Terroir Limit that. They were saying that they were not focusing in this classification because they were focusing in how you treat the vines, no? How you treat. So that's another topic because not all of the wineries are aligned with this new classification.
With this, and also it is very new, and I think it will need some time to have it established and to align with the rest of the winemakers. Yeah. Okay, so I have one last question for you. because I don't want to take much of your time. And we did this entire session about Corpinat before, so that's why I don't want to go into much detail. But apart from Dio Cava, yes, we talked about a little bit like what Dio Cava is. You mentioned that. But Torres also has a sparkling wine, which is Vardonkenet. It's not under Dio Cava. So
No.
why it's not in the Dio appellation? And does it have an appellation on its own, or is it just Vardonkenet?
At the moment, is Vardonkenet, and the family has a really good reason. The grapes that we are using to make this wine at the moment are coming from the Penedès region. But the family, well, you might know, and the people maybe also know, the family, instead of focusing in being 100% organic, or they go in a more wider, they look the wider panorama, and they created this Torres and Earth project that is about fighting the global warming, doing as much as we can do. So saying this, we know that the climate change is happening. The map of the vineyards that we know nowadays, it will be completely different in the future. You already see the people in the UK planting Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon. So not even, I'm not talking about even sparkling wines, that is already happening. It's a thing already in the UK. Here is exactly the same. We are looking for new scenarios to adapt the vineyards and the vine growing. And we have a parcel in Tremp. Tremp is in Costes del Segre. Is inland, really close to the Pyrenees, at 950 meters above the sea level. So that gives, we know that every 100 meters we go high, 0.6 degrees of average temperature goes down. So the higher we go, the cooler the cooler weather we have. We have vineyards over there of Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Riesling, even Charello. So we decided not to go to the Cava appellation because these vineyards in Trent are outside the Cava boundaries. So if in the short or mid term we need to use those grapes, we reserve the possibility to use those grapes in order to go for quality. No, I think people from Corpinat, people from classic Penedès, they kind of, or even, well, yes, Corpinat, the Raventosi Blanc, they decided to go outside the Cava appellation because
Raventosi Blanc is not part of Corpinat.
It's not Corpinat?
No,
Oh, okay,
no,
okay.
It's not Corpinat. It's not part of none of the appellations. It's on its own.
Conca del Rio
I know.
Moya.
I think it's classic Penedès, Raventosi Blanc. No?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Not very sure.
Not sure.
But I remember when this classic Penedès or Corpinat was not created, they were already out. They were Conca.
Yeah, it was. Before that it was.
And the idea is looking for quality. So if the temperature keeps rising, the acidity keeps going down in this part, okay, we look for new scenarios. We go higher in altitude. We keep this nerve, this tension, this good acidity that makes the wine taste better, taste more refreshing, give the wine more aging potential. We are talking about Vardonkenet, 30 months on the lease, no, almost 3 years, almost like a vintage champagne. And if we want to give these weapons to the wine to fight the aging, you need to look for better quality. So this is part of a global thing that is Torres and Earth, that is adapting to the circumstances, which is the global warming, the biggest threat that we are facing.
Yeah. Apart from now the pandemic, it's the biggest thing that we are. The second biggest thing.
But you see that with the pandemic, now the global warming is
it's like kind of
the impact is much lower. So
a few weeks ago I read a tweet, and someone was saying that global warming needs to use the PR agency of pandemic for COVID-19.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much, Lucas. I don't know if you have anything else that you want to share or add, but I'm super happy with my questions. I got all my answers. Thank you so much for your time.
No. Thank you for listening to me and give me the opportunity to communicate what we like. No, the
Yeah,
wine sharing
my
moment,
pleasure.
and
Yeah,
it's for me your space. It was like a water in May, no, like they say here, because we have no option but being online and having this kind of talks. Really nice, sometimes really technical, and for people that is into the wine, it's just fantastic. What you're doing,
and also it is, and also we get to see each other, we get to see our faces. You know, it has been so long that we cannot really socialize in the real life, so it's a way that we can also socialize.
definitely. But hopefully this will end soon. We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully, and then we'll get back to the normal life. We'll go to Joannette. We'll
We'll
have
see.
lunch in Joannette.
We ate the raw chicken
And then maybe we'll go to one of the wineries that you were talking about. Maybe Priorat. I
yes,
haven't been to
definitely.
the Priorat one yet.
Catalonia is fantastic. Within very little kilometers, you find different microclimate, different style of wines, different wineries. So, and I think it's the future for people here. We will start little by little. So we will start going outside. We want outdoor experiences. We small groups and local tourism. So let me tell you that our visitor center will be open at the end of the month. So we hope everybody that will be there enjoying a glass of wine, social distancing, masks, all the protections that we need to. But yeah, hopefully little by little the people will join us. Huh?
Yeah. So this year maybe there's no beach tourism, but we'll do wine tourism.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much. Let me say thank you and gracias a todos mis amigos de Argentina que estaban mirando, que hace muchísimo que no los veo. And that's it. That's all my Spanish. And Mercedes also.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Salud.
Cheers to Argentina. Ciao.
Cheers. Thank you very much.